Hi, and welcome to another video of the listening practice series on my channel in English with Lisa. The short stories in these videos are all created and narrated by me. It's my voice you hear, not that of an AI, artificial intelligence program. This listening series is entirely in English, and it's separated in playlists of different levels, from A1 all the way up to C1 and C2. So, let's get started. Grab a notebook for any new vocabulary, get comfortable, and enjoy today's story. Welcome to today's short story, The Accidental Text. Chapter 1, Wrong Number. Sophie Morgan stared at her phone in frustration. Her brother still hadn't replied to her message about dinner plans for their mother's birthday. Alex, I need you to confirm if you're bringing Sarah to Mom's birthday dinner. I have to tell the restaurant how many people are coming. Please reply today. She hit send and turned her attention back to her work. As a freelance graphic designer, Sophie had a deadline approaching and she needed to focus. 10 minutes later, her phone pinged with a message. Hi there. I think you have the wrong number. I'm not Alex and I don't know Sarah or your mom. But whoever's coming to dinner, I hope it's a great birthday celebration. Sophie felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment. She quickly checked the number she had messaged. It was different from her brother's by just one digit. I'm so sorry. You're right. Wrong number. My brother changed his phone recently, and I must have saved it incorrectly. Thank you for being nice about it. She expected that to be the end of the conversation, but a moment later, her phone pinged again. No problem at all. Brothers can be frustrating sometimes. I have two of them, so I understand completely. Sophie smiled. There was something friendly about this stranger's messages. You have two brothers? Then you really do understand. Mine always leaves everything to the last minute. Are yours the same? The oldest one is super organized, but my younger brother would forget his own birthday if we didn't remind him. I'm Daniel, by the way. Nice to meet you, Daniel. I'm Sophie. And yes, that sounds exactly like my brother Alex. So, Sophie, what do you do when you're not chasing your brother for dinner confirmations? The question made her laugh. I'm a graphic designer, currently working on a website for a coffee chain. What about you? Daniel was a high school English teacher who loved his job but complained good-naturedly about grading essays. He had a dog named Rocket, loved old films, and had recently taken up cooking, with mixed results. I tried to make pasta from scratch last weekend, he wrote. It looked more like glue than food. My kitchen still hasn't recovered. It was nearly midnight when Sophie realized how long they'd been chatting. I should probably sleep now, she wrote. Early start tomorrow. Same here. First period starts at 8, and teenagers aren't exactly morning people. Good night, Sophie. It was nice talking to you, even if it started with a mistake. Sophie put her phone down with a smile, surprised by how much she had enjoyed talking to someone she had never met. Chapter 1, Comprehension Questions. Number 1. Why did Sophie text the wrong number? A. She typed the number incorrectly. B. Her brother changed his phone recently and she saved the wrong number. C. Her phone had a technical problem. The correct answer is B. Her brother changed his phone recently and she saved the wrong number. Number 2. What is Sophie's profession? A. Teacher. B. Restaurant manager. C. Graphic designer. The correct answer is C. Graphic designer. Number 3. What did Daniel say he recently tried to make? A. A cake. B. Pasta from scratch. C. A painting. The correct answer is B. Pasta from scratch. Number 4. How did Sophie feel at the end of their first conversation? A. Annoyed that she wasted time. B. Worried about her brother. C. Surprised that she enjoyed talking to a stranger. The correct answer is C. Surprised that she enjoyed talking to a stranger. Chapter 2. Digital Connection. A week passed, and Sophie found herself thinking about Daniel occasionally. Their conversation had been unexpectedly pleasant, but she hadn't messaged him again. Her mother's birthday dinner had gone well, despite Alex arriving late. Sophie was at her desk the following Monday when her phone pinged. "Hi, Sophie. This is Daniel from the wrong number incident. I just had a student present a project on graphic design and thought of you. How did the birthday dinner go?" Sophie stared at the message in surprise, but found herself smiling as she replied, "Hi, Daniel. The dinner was great. Thanks for asking. My brother was late, of course, but Mom was happy. How's the teaching going? Any cooking disasters since we last spoke?" Just like that, they fell back into conversation. Over the next few weeks, they developed a rhythm of texting each other. Sometimes it was just a quick message, Daniel sharing a funny moment from his classroom, or Sophie sending a photo of a sunset from her apartment window. Other times, they would chat for hours. "Do you think it's strange that we keep talking like this?" Sophie asked one evening. "We've never even met." "Maybe it's strange," Daniel replied, "but it's also nice. Sometimes it's easier to talk to someone you don't see every day. Less pressure, you know." Sophie did know. There was something freeing about their digital friendship. They discovered shared taste in music, a mutual love of rainy days, and the same terrible habit of leaving laundry until they completely ran out of clean clothes. "What do you look like?" Daniel asked after they had been texting for about a month. "I realize I have no idea." "I'm 5'6", with brown hair that never does what I want it to do. Green eyes, nothing special. What about you?" 6'1", dark hair that's getting too long because I keep forgetting to cut it. Brown eyes that my grandmother used to say were like chocolate drops." Sophie found herself sharing things with Daniel that she rarely discussed with others. Her dream of creating her own line of stationery, her parents' divorce, her fear of becoming too comfortable with being alone. "Do you ever think about meeting up?" Daniel asked eventually. "We only live across town from each other after all." The question made Sophie's heart beat faster. What if meeting in person ruined their comfortable digital connection? I'm not sure, she replied honestly. What if it's weird? It might be, Daniel admitted. But what if it's not? What if it's just as easy as texting, but better because we can actually see each other's reactions? After thinking about it for several days, Sophie made a decision. Okay, let's do it, she texted Daniel. Let's meet, but somewhere casual, like coffee. And if it's awkward, we promise to laugh about it and go back to texting. Deal, Daniel replied. How about Saturday at the Riverside Cafe? 2 p.m. They have great cake, which will give us something to focus on if conversation fails. Chapter 2, Comprehension Questions. Number 1. Who contacted whom after their first conversation? A. Sophie contacted Daniel first. B. Daniel contacted Sophie first. C. Sophie's brother contacted Daniel. The correct answer is B. Daniel contacted Sophie first. Number 2. What did Daniel and Sophie discover they had in common? A. They both loved cooking elaborate meals. B. They both had the same brother. C. They both had a habit of leaving laundry until they ran out of clean clothes. The correct answer is C. They both had a habit of leaving laundry until they ran out of clean clothes. Number 3. What was Sophie afraid of? A. Meeting Daniel in person. B. Becoming too comfortable with being alone. C. Losing her job. The correct answer is B. Becoming too comfortable with being alone. Number 4. Why was Sophie hesitant about meeting Daniel in person? A. She was too busy with work. B. She lived too far away. C. She was worried it might ruin their digital connection. The correct answer is C. She was worried it might ruin their digital connection. Chapter 3. Face to Face. Saturday arrived quickly. Sophie changed her outfit several times before settling on jeans and a green sweater that brought out her eyes. She almost cancelled twice, but forced herself to go. The Riverside Cafe was busy when Sophie arrived, exactly 3 minutes before 2 p.m. She scanned the room nervously, looking for someone who might be Daniel. A man sitting alone by the window caught her eye. He had dark, slightly too long hair and was fidgeting with a napkin. Taking a deep breath, Sophie walked over to his table. "Daniel?" she asked hesitantly. He looked up, and a warm smile spread across his face. "Sophie?" She nodded, suddenly shy. He stood up, and for an awkward moment they both hesitated, unsure whether to shake hands, hug, or sit down. "It's really nice to meet you," Daniel said finally. "Properly, I mean, not just as a text on a screen." "You too," Sophie replied, sitting down opposite him. "This is a bit strange, isn't it?" "Completely strange," Daniel agreed with a laugh. "But good strange, I think." His laugh was warm and genuine, and Sophie felt herself relaxing. He had kind eyes, just as she had imagined from his messages. They ordered coffee and cake, and initially the conversation was a bit stilted, but gradually they found their rhythm. Daniel told stories about his students that made Sophie laugh out loud. She showed him sketches of her latest design project, and he asked thoughtful questions. I was really nervous about today, Sophie admitted as they started on their second cup of coffee. Me too, Daniel confessed. I changed my shirt 3 times. Only 3? I changed my entire outfit 4 times. They both laughed, and the remaining tension dissolved. I'm glad you sent that wrong message, Daniel said, looking at her with a warmth that made Sophie's heartbeat quicken. I was having a really bad day when your text came through. Your message made me smile for the first time that day. The afternoon stretched into evening. They moved from the cafe to a small restaurant nearby, neither of them ready to end their first meeting. Over dinner, Sophie realized that the connection they had built through messages was real. Daniel in person was just as thoughtful, funny, and kind as he was in his texts. Can I walk you home? Daniel asked when they finally left the restaurant. The sky was dark, stars just beginning to appear. I'd like that, Sophie replied. They walked slowly through the city streets, their hands occasionally brushing. When they reached Sophie's apartment building, they paused, looking at each other in the soft glow of the streetlights. This was nice, Daniel said softly. Really nice. It was, Sophie agreed. Not weird at all. Well, maybe a little weird at first, Daniel admitted with a smile. But the good kind of weird, Sophie added. Daniel hesitated before asking, Can I see you again? Maybe dinner next Friday? I'd like that, Sophie said, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. Text me the details. I will, Daniel promised. That's one number I definitely won't get wrong. She laughed, and then, before she could overthink it, she stood on tiptoe and kissed his cheek. Good night, Daniel. Good night, Sophie, he replied, his smile visible even in the dim light. As she entered her apartment, Sophie took out her phone and sent one last message. Thank you for a wonderful evening. I'm really glad I got my brother's number wrong. The reply came almost immediately, and I'm really glad I decided to reply to a stranger's text. Sometimes the best things happen by accident. Chapter 3 Comprehension Questions. Number 1. How did Sophie feel before meeting Daniel? A. Completely relaxed. B. Angry with her brother. C. Nervous and considered canceling. The correct answer is C. Nervous and considered canceling. Number 2. What did Daniel and Sophie do after having coffee? A. They went their separate ways. B. They went to Sophie's apartment. C. They went to a restaurant for dinner. The correct answer is C. They went to a restaurant for dinner. Number 3. What did Daniel ask Sophie at the end of their evening? A. If he could walk her home. B. If she would marry him. C. If she would help him with his cooking. The correct answer is A. If he could walk her home. Number 4. What was Sophie's final message to Daniel after their meeting? A. Let's never meet again. B. I'm really glad I got my brother's number wrong. C. Please don't text me anymore. The correct answer is B. I'm really glad I got my brother's number wrong. Epilogue. 1 year later. Sophie adjusted the decorations on the small cake before stepping back. The words Happy Accident Anniversary were written in blue icing. Are you still fussing with that cake? Daniel called from the living room. It looked perfect an hour ago. Just making sure, Sophie replied, carrying the cake to the coffee table where Daniel was waiting. Rocket, his dog, who had now become their dog, wagged his tail hopefully. 1 year since your famous wrong number, Daniel said, pulling her down to sit beside him on the couch. Best mistake ever made. Sophie smiled, leaning into his embrace. The past year had been full of changes. After 6 months of dating, she had moved into Daniel's apartment. Daniel had been promoted at his school, and they had started talking about buying a house together. I brought something to show you, Daniel said, reaching for his phone. He pulled up a message and showed it to Sophie. It was the first text she had sent him, saved after all this time. You kept it, she exclaimed, touched by the gesture. Of course I did. It was the beginning of us, he replied simply. Though I still haven't met your brother Alex or his girlfriend Sarah. Well, they're coming to stay next weekend, remember? Finally, you'll get to meet the real Alex. Daniel laughed and took her hand, his thumb gently rubbing over the silver ring on her finger. Not an engagement ring yet, but a promise for the future. You know, Sophie said thoughtfully, when I sent that wrong message, I was so embarrassed. I never could have imagined where it would lead. Life brings people together in unexpected ways, Daniel said. Sometimes an accident isn't really an accident at all. Sophie smiled and squeezed his hand. One mistyped digit had changed both their lives forever, turning a simple wrong number into the most right thing that had ever happened to them. To happy accidents, Daniel said, raising his glass, and to taking chances, Sophie added, touching her glass to his. The end. Thank you for watching this video until the end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notifications bell. This isn't an artificial intelligence. The story was narrated by In English with Lisa. I'm a native speaking teacher, and this is my real voice. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I love hearing from all of you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you never miss a new lesson. Plus, you'll help my channel grow, and you'll give me the possibility to create other videos that you can watch for free. See you soon. Bye.